Hey everybody, Tall Family Films here. Today, my dishwasher, I woke up, it had no power and there was water sitting in the bottom of it. So normally one of these lights would be blue, but absolutely none of them were blue. No beeping, no nothing. So let's tackle this and figure out what's going on. The first thing is you need to get to the control board that's inside the dishwasher, and it's inside the door. So we're just going to take the door off right now. So there's one thing you should note when you're taking the screws out is that you see these longer screws? Those long screws go in the top part of the door. There's 4 of them. And these shorter screws, those go along the sides. You would not want to screw the long screw into the side. It would go through the front of the panel and then you'd have a dent in your front of your door. All right, so then the door just comes right off. A little bit of finagling, but it just pops right off. So now we need to get into where the control board is. And nothing else holds, at least on this dishwasher, nothing else really holds that panel in place. Just comes right off. And there's the control board. So let's get a closer look at that. All right, so what we're looking for in here is a fuse. We're gonna come back to the point that those wires are black. I'm gonna come back and talk about that in a few minutes. They are not burned, if you're wondering. I thought they were at first too, but they're not. All right, so right here in the bottom right, and I apologize that I didn't get this great camera work on some parts of this, but in the bottom right, there is what's called a thermal fuse right here. It has 2 wires that connect to it, and it has a clip that holds it in, a little plastic clip. So let's take this out because I want to jump the connection, take the fuse out and jump the connection and see if that fixes the problem. There's also another way, it's a little safer way for you to test to see if that's the problem as well. So we're going to show you both methods here. Getting the clip out is not hard, but it's a little bit tedious. So be careful with it, be patient, don't break it. So what I did was got a small flat-headed screwdriver and I just pried off one side at a time. And then slight pressure pushing upwards, and the whole clip with the thermal fuse will just pop up. All right, so I'm taking the thermal fuse out, and I just have a very small piece of wire that I'm going to put in place of the fuse. This is not the safest thing to do, but I was also 99% sure this was my problem. I'll show you the safer way for you to know if it's the thermal fuse in just a second. So all I did was just put a wire right across the 2 terminals. So the same thing the fuse would be doing, except the fuse acts as a safety, which we're bypassing at this moment. So I'm gonna go turn the breaker on and see if that is indeed what the problem is. Oh, look at that. Dishwasher's happy again. In fact, it seems to be picking right back up in the cycle where it died. I guess the same as if the house lost power. So here's another method. Just take both fuses out. So I have a good fuse and a bad fuse here. Set your multimeter to ohms or continuity. I'm not a multimeter expert. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it. So you can see this fuse, the new one, acts much better than the previous one. All right, so the wires aren't actually burned. If you look on the back, they're actually fine. And I thought that was like what was indicating some sort of an overload that caused the problem, but you can see that those wires were actually touching this black piece of electrical tape, which is falling apart. So this dishwasher is about 15 years old, so it just rubbed up against there and eventually the black transferred off the tape. So it wasn't burned. All right, so the fuse doesn't actually have polarity. Okay, so you could hook this up backwards and it would still work. But you can also make some markings and get it back right the way it was made. So I'm just gonna go turn the breaker back on one more time. Breaker's on, dishwasher's happy, and we're good to go. So if this video helped you, you can really help others find it if you will give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. Thank you very much.